Hey there guys, Adorcast here, aka Jedi Bro 95. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I know a bunch of 2K21 news did just come out today, and I'll probably make another video recapping that either later today or probably tomorrow, whichever one, whenever I have the free time. But I actually have a few questions for the developers that, I wanted to ask since Mike Wang is not responding to myself on Twitter or responding to other important questions that I think the community has as a whole. So, question number one I have that I really and truly want to understand. Mike Wang did talk about in his flurry of reveals today that Intimidator has been reworked and it is now completely different than to what it is in 2K20, which is fantastic. My question is, what about badges like Pogo Stick, Steady Shooter, Fast Break Finisher, I think is another badge that I really wanted to see changed up this year. I think also another badge I wanted to see was Unpluckable changed. Just like certain badges that are like he says Intimidators are getting changed and whatnot. That's fine, but I'm just curious about what about the other badges that people are talking about, like Pogo Stick, Steady Shooter, etc. Because those badges, in my opinion, especially Pogo Stick, it ruined defense in the paint this year, and it took no skill to fucking protect the rim because that badge alone. Because of that badge alone, you could just spam the triangle button until your heart was content, and you could jump as many times as you wanted to. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and oh god, I hated every second of Pogo Stick this year. Anyways, the second question I have to ask is about the fluctuating overall system in 2K21. Are we going to see the fluctuating overall system return? Or if not, how is my player upgrades going to look in 2K21? Because a lot of people, including myself, hated the fluctuating overall system. It was a good idea in theory, but it wasn't necessarily a good idea in practice, kind of like what I alluded to in my previous video, where we've had ideas that worked good in theory but didn't work out in practice, and this was definitely one of those things. Like it was cool to distinguish like who got like the higher up players who could maintain 99 overall and shit like that. That was cool, but the issue with that was a few things. One, at the beginning of the year, people found an exploit to where if you were a 99 overall and you played against them, all you had to do was just dashboard out of the game. It would count as a loss, and they would get an attribute hit. That wasn't fair, because you were beating a team so bad that they all just ended up dashboarding and quitting that there was realistically no point to playing the game online because everybody would just do that. So that was, I'm not gonna lie, that was just straight up toxic. The second thing was the fact that you could just run it right back in my career mode, which honestly that's the least of my issues. I had no problem with earning 99 overall in my career because I believe that's what it should be there for, other than badge grinding. We all know that is the purpose of my career, and so I think 2K should definitely keep that in the game in that situation. And third is the fact that you could have games where you play really well. Like, I've had games where I get like a 25-point double-double, but unfortunately we still lose, and I would drop in overall points. That is not fair to me, because even though we lost, I was the reason that we were even in the game, and yet for some reason I took an attribute hit. In my opinion, that should not be a thing in 2K21. They should have it to where even if you play really well, and you lose, your overall isn't impacted as much as people who do not play very well. And likewise for the opposite. Like, you can have games where you play as a rebounding guard or a spot-up shooter, but just because your man chooses to stand there and just be like, yeah, you're not getting a shot today, dumbass, you can't really contribute to your team, and then as a result, you end the game with like 5 points. Just because you were playing as a catch-and-shoot player and your man didn't decide to help on drives when your teammates were doing all the work. Now, I hope that is something that is changed for 2K21, as that made maintaining 99 overall on those types of builds really hard, and just overall unenjoyable. But I mean, who knows, right? This is 2K we're talking about here. The next thing I want to talk about is microtransactions. Now, I know, 2K is definitely going to have microtransactions. That is just something we need to come accustomed to. But the reason I'm asking about the microtransactions is, are they going to make it so that way we have to buy VC for like boosts and my team packs and shit? Are they gonna make us have to buy VC, or are they going to give us adequate ways to earn VC throughout the year, kind of like what they did in 2K19, where they had the Reese Puffs Crunch Hour, where you got double VC and double rep. My Career gave you a very good VC amount. Like, you would get like close to 2,000 to 2,500 a game, depending on the build you were playing on, depending on how well you played, which was pretty dope. So I hope 2K doesn't go back to, or doesn't regress any further down the make us have to buy VC train, and hopefully they allow us to not have to purchase VC, in order to get what we want. The next thing I want to talk about, gentlemen, is more specifically in relation to items like clothing and content in 2K. More specifically, are they going to continue to support content into the PS5 version, into the PS4 version, once the PS5 version comes out? Because many players, including myself, we're not getting the PS5 right away, okay? Because that's just a lot of money to drop down instantly. I think a lot of people could agree that is a bit of a rough transition to go from console generation to console generation. And one could actually make the argument that 2K should actually focus more on the current gen consoles, because of the fact that not everyone's going to the PS5 right away, and you're going to have a lot of players that are going to still stick on the PS4. So that's just what I wonder too, is like, for the PS4 users, are we still going to get content like how the PS5 will have it, or are 2K just going to completely neglect the PS5, the PS4, as soon as the PS5 version comes out? I hope they don't, because that would be a gigantic fuck you to everybody who could not drop $500+ on a new console. That would just be the biggest fuck you I have ever seen in my life in regards to gaming. The next thing I want to talk about, gentlemen, that I have a question on that I hope gets answered soon, is square spamming. How does 2K plan to control the square spamming in 2K21? Because in 2K20 and even in the last 3 years, we all know square spamming is legit gotten me to a point where if I start seeing a square spamming player, I lose my goddamn mind, because that shit takes no skill, gentlemen. It takes no skill to spam a button all fucking game and get a goddamn steal. And in the last couple of years, off-ball spamming has become a bigger thing because of how crazy interceptions have been the last 2 seasons. Also related to that, passing lane steals. Are 2K going to nerf down passing lane steals for 2K21? I would also hope so, because passing lanes steals were one of the biggest reasons I just did not play competitive Pro-Am that much this year. I did play it, and I did enjoy playing Pro-Am, but a lot of games I was going up against square spamming, off-ball interceptor on gold or Hall of Fame pieces of garbage that, realistically speaking, half the time they didn't even deserve to get a goddamn steal, but because they're pressing the square button and spamming it, eventually they're going to get a fucking steal. So I hope 2K addresses square spamming for 2K21, because that is something that has been constantly plagued in this game over the last couple years, and it has just definitely made things a lot less enjoyable than it should be for the overall gameplay. And finally, gentlemen, the last question I have, I guess this has been more than 5. I think we're at like 7 or 8 now. The last question I have is related to rep grinding. Is 2K going to make the same mistake and allow us to only earn a good amount of rep by throwing lobs or flashy passes or catching lobs, depending on the build or the position? In my opinion, that can't happen again, because that opens the floodgates for boosting, because there are guys throughout the year that were boosting by just throwing lobs all game throughout the year that realistically and truly speaking, it was just annoying. And like, I think rep should be tied into how you play on the court and your overall teammate grade, not in comparison to how many lobs you could throw and catch in a game. Because if that were to happen again, then we would have another chalk situation where he hits legend, where a guy will hit legend after like 2 months. And in my opinion, that is way too soon for someone to be hitting legend. Okay, like, I think about around Christmas time to the New Year, I think is when we should appropriately see the first legend. Okay, I think that's the best time to where we could actually definitively say that should be when the first legend comes in, and the first legend gets made. Because that is just ridiculous how that people can just boost that much, and then next thing you know, we got fucking a legend after 2 months. But anyways, guys, hopefully this video has sparked some debate, because that is definitely one I want to see. If you guys haven't seen these questions already on Twitter, directed to Mike Wang or Zach Timmerman or any of the 2K developers, please add them with these questions, because I definitely would like to see some answers and give my thoughts on the answers that they give. But with that out of the way, gentlemen, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, please be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. Also turn on post notifications, so that way you guys can get notified for when I upload, because, you know, YouTube is dumb. But anyways, I'm out. Peace.